Well, hey there everyone, it's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike and I do bees. Welcome to Southeast Louisiana. Folks, it is the 10th of August and I'm back. I'm back off the road finally. And I got to do some things with the bees today. But I don't know if you can hear it or not. Well, this is a different camera. I don't even want to go into what happened to my Action 4 right now. But this is a different camera for right now, and I don't know if the mic, how it's working. I can't use my external mic. I'm very congested, not feeling good, very bad under the weather. Couldn't go to work, left work early, then couldn't go yesterday. Just really hurting. Came on quick Thursday afternoon, so I've got to do about an hour's worth of work. But here's one of the reasons I started this channel. Sometimes if you got a couple hives, today isn't a necessary action that I'm doing, but I started this channel to show people some of the challenges of beekeeping, and this is one of them where I've got to get this done. So I'm going to dedicate an hour and see if I can keep up enough strength to do what I got to do. And I'm doing something very easy, but boy, I feel bad and I need to get back in and start resting. Praise the Lord, it was only 72 this morning, so wow, that was great. It's probably about 75 now, and I got to get busy. But what I did was I left my hives for the last couple weeks as I was on the road. You guys that have been watching me know I could not harvest all the honey. I just didn't have the time. By the time I had to go to the North Carolina conference, come back for 4 days, there was no time in between there. I had to get everything ready and had to go on the road for a couple weeks. So there's no just easy answer for getting the honey off. I couldn't just leave it in the honey house for 3 weeks. You know, I had to leave some honey on the hives, and down here I don't like to leave them on the hives. There's several reasons why. We'll go into that as we walk out there to them. But I did pull that off beginning of the week, and I'm wondering whether I was starting to really get sick then, because I pulled 14 supers and it like killed me out. When I was done, I was like ready to collapse. I just laid out. It's like, oh my gosh. Lot worse than normal. But anyway, I got the honey off, and the bees are buzzing this building because it's been drying for the last 3 days and it needs to be harvested, but I don't have the energy to stand up and harvest it right now. So I'm gonna have to turn the fans off. I can't over dry the stuff or it'll get too thick coming out. So what we're looking at is these supers here. I actually left one super on. I didn't have the energy to take it off. I left it on, a single, no biggie. I'll get it this week sometime. And I've got to get this stuff ready to go. So folks, very quickly, let me talk about what we're doing today. I got to treat the colonies that I left the honey on. I had to leave honey on several huge colonies, and obviously I could not treat those. So where I made my mistakes at with that, well, it's not really that I guess my biggest mistake is just overextension. It was planned, and I knew I was doing what I did. The problem was I don't have any more hives than I had last year. The issue is my workload at work picked up a lot, and I didn't have the time after work. And so, you know, it's not that I got behind. It's that I had a few things coming up, and I had caught up by the time it was time to harvest, but I ran out of time due to other commitments. I didn't plan my vacation properly, I guess is what I did wrong. So I had to leave honey on the hives, and what that did was, remember, they're a strong hive, so I did leave honey on them. That was the ones I would want because they could guard the honey as the nests shrink. The problem is, when we grow bees, we grow mites, and those things are huge, and now there's just that many more mites to combat. So we got to get those treated. Another mistake I made was, okay, so with Apiguard, this is the right time to treat them when the nests are shrinking. It's the right time. And why I have to do this today and get going on it is, it's too hot to do a full treatment. Full treatment is 51, which on the syringe is 50, or vice versa, 51 on a syringe, 50 grams, it's 51 milliliters. Nonetheless, it's too hot to do that. You do that twice, every like 5 to 7 days. If you do the half a dose, you got to do it up to 4 times some cases. In North Carolina, I listened to Greg Rogers talk about the efficacy of 3 times at 36. So the next few doses on the hives I had treating, I did that, and now I'm going to go back on these and do it. But that takes up to 2 weeks. And in August, when they're drawing down their nest, we don't want to go way into September dealing with treatments. That's why I need to get it going now. We're on the 10th. That'll put me to by the 20th to be done. And that's good because we need these bees ready to build back up into the fall flow so they're ready for winter. So I don't want to treat way too long. So I don't want to make that mistake and wait too long. So that's why it has to be done. But I've only got the hives next door and like 3 over here. So that should be quick. The problem with these small hives I didn't treat, because it also tells you don't treat weak hives, combine them, get your combines done. I left 3 weak ones. And I should have known they probably weren't going to make it because 2 of them didn't. I got a double over there on the left. It didn't make it. A single on the end didn't make it. Well, what's the big deal with that, Mike? Well, the big deal is they didn't get treated. They were mite bombs. Should have just treated them anyway. Even if I knew they probably wouldn't make it. I wasn't combining them. They were very inferior. I didn't want anything to, and there weren't that many bees. We only get 3 or 4 frames of bees. So I should have just let them take the treatment, and even a half a dose, something to kill off some of the mites. But I created mite bombs, so now all the other colonies that robbed them, so that was a no-brainer that I did anyway. So anyway, let's get busy. What I'm doing is I am going to rip shims off, and I want to try and put probiotics on everybody. Start my probiotics now that the honey flow is over, and go all the way through till the spring with probiotics every month. Super DFM is a probiotic. Everybody's going to ask me what Super DFM is and what the white powder is. It's a probiotic. And I started the regime last year, and I'm going to continue it. It says you can do it during the flow, but I wasn't willing to do that. So we'll get the shims off, get the probiotics on, and move on through them. So hopefully they're not too ornery. I do know that this time of year the bees get ornery, and why? They know it's robbing season. They've been robbing. And they're defensive. That's why we want to get them off. You see what they've done to where that card was? They've purplized the card. I've seen a lot of them do this. They get underneath that card. Get that thing up. It's a lot of propolis. Let's get the shim off. I broke that shim. I'll make some more. I'm not worried about picking everything up just now. I just want to get done and get back in. So the probiotic, it comes with a nice, I think it's I forget how many, tablespoon or teaspoon. Put that on. That's what I'm doing today, right there. That shouldn't take too much energy out of me. And I keep my brick standing so I knew who got treated and who didn't until I'm all the way done with treatments. Not too many beetles on this one. Good looking colony though. This is what we want them to look like. Didn't see any beetles. They've completely torn the card out, so that makes it easy on me. And there we go. That's what I'm gonna do. Now, bees look so much better this year than they did last year at this time, as we were in a drought. That was not a fun time for them or me. Nice, another nice looking colony. Get all this off. It's a lot of good propolis. Problem is it's got thymol in it, so not gonna save it. There we go. This one has got a super on it. It did get treated. This is not honey that's coming off. This one here, it is it's not honey that's being harvested. They were huge. I gave them some space. I crowd my bees in the summer. I don't sweat it, but sometimes when they're huge, I don't. They may have put honey in there, but it'll get fed back. But it is time to get this off because I don't want extra space. Matter of fact, it's coming off now. There's hardly any bees in it. It's got an excluder, so let me smoke them because they're stinging my hand. Get complacent because I know I'm in a hurry. My goal is just get these treatments on. I guess I honestly could skip the probiotics. It's not a schedule. I don't know, just kind of get it done and be done so I can just go rest and not worry about my bees. I won't be able to get the ones in town yet, obviously, but hive beetles. They're not terrible. There's a few of them that are heavy on the hive beetles. Yeah, there's no honey in there. I just put it on for space. So I'm gonna pull this off. They don't need it anymore. I don't want to promote any extra real estate for them to guard. I did this to 2 hives. I'll let these air out and the honey supers will be fine. Let me get them off. We'll get going. I put excluders on them. They were completely empty. I just gave, so they have more space. It was early on, but now do not want them to have extra space whatsoever to have to guard. So I don't mind crowding my colonies. It can't stress the bees out if you crowd them and heat them up, overheat them. They'll come out and they'll beard and everything, but it still can stress them out. But at the same time, there comes a time when I've got to reduce them down, and they get crowded, and that's okay. It ain't gonna hurt them. It's never hurt them before. Matter of fact, last year when I couldn't crowd them, it was not good. Doesn't seem to hurt them that I can tell. In fact, it makes me feel better that they can guard that space. I'm gonna open up this other dead out. It's probably full of wax moth. The wax moth tend to get in there before the bees are even out when they're weak. And so I'm sure that thing is just one big cob. And you can tell they're tearing through this one. Now, the nice thing is seeing them all flying right now. They're not bearding like crazy. Oh, let's go check a pollen trap. You know, I set my pollen trap on Monday. When I got back, I went ahead and set it and figured, but I haven't been able to get out here because I've been down hard. So this tells me whether they're bringing in any pollen. They're bringing in some. It's not a huge amount, but it's enough to harvest. So I'll harvest that too today. I did not treat this one because it was a swarm, so it had its brood break. And I'm relying on that, and I'm gonna hit them hard with oxalic acid in December time frame. So they shouldn't be peaked out with mites that bad, I'm hoping. And they're strong not to get robbed out, so I am holding off treatment on just this one because I'm drawing pollen on it right now. All right, let's open this dead out. Let's open this dead out. See what it looks like. It's probably so full of wax moth. I just ran out of time, guys. There's no excuse really, but that's the one I'm sticking with. And now I lose equipment and lose bees over it, but I don't know what happened to this one. Oh, I see what happened. It looked like it had swarmed in April, and I think I let it requeen, and I guess I figured it was requeening because it seemed like the bees weren't dwindling that much. I didn't inspect it because that was the end of April. It was going into the flow, and so it probably just didn't requeen and died out. I did have one next door. I think that one, well, that one on that stand, I think that was a mite die off, and that's why I'm concerned. That one, it had a queen, and it went shoo, and when it crashes like that, you know, the thing with mite treatments, and it was nice to hear Dr. Jeff Harris a couple nights ago say this. I've said this for years, is if the bees are already sick and overwhelmed with the viruses, we can treat them all we want. Doesn't matter. It's too late at that point. And I think that was a lot to do with that one. And I didn't treat it, but that was a mistake. Because it was a mite bomb. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. Yeah, look at the wax moth. Woo. You can see right there. All over it. Alright, so this is gonna have to be a cleanup when I'm feeling better, because I'm not feeling good enough to be messing with too much right now. Because I'm miserable right now. This isn't a super good hive, but it's got plenty of bees. It's got a good beard on the front in the afternoon when it's hot. I think I destroyed my shim. Yeah. Oh yeah. That shim was broke, but I can fix it. I fixed it. Put a little Gorilla Tape on that and I'll use it next year. I've done that with them before. I'm cheap that way. It works, it's just a shim. This is the other one that has the super. This thing was massive and I don't know, I got to sweating it. I usually don't sweat it, I usually pack them down in there, but I don't know. Some days I get that gut feeling. Now this one, they look like they put something in it. Nah, whatever they put in, it's getting fed back to the rest of them. It'll get put out there on my stand. And again, that's not supers. I'm not making honey. I'm not treating while I'm making honey. I don't want anybody to think that. I'm probably gonna go get a fume board to stick on here and run those bees out of there, and then I'm gonna put that on the stand and it'll get fed back. Folks, here's one that wasn't treated. It's one I pulled the supers off, and it needs, I just got this extra lid on here. It didn't seal good, and the robin had started when I was pulling supers, so I swapped lids. But I didn't want these notes to apply to that one. So anyway. Oh man, my smoker. Woo! Not a happy bunch of campers there. Not at all. Alright, going to get the gloves. They ate me up on that one. Ooh, that colony got super defensive. A lot of smoke. Kind of calm down. Have to treat this one. So let's get a treatment on them. Or a shim on. Everybody's a little defensive. I put those supers that I took off those other hives. There must have been a little nectar and they're starting to rob them out. So once that kind of starts, everybody gets a little defensive. Gonna go with the middle amount, the 30 on these colonies. So I don't have to do them that often, and hope we don't push them abscond out. We'll see. I know the full dose definitely can make them abscond. So that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna treat these ones that have not been treated. The activity is up really high right now, so I'm getting weak. I need to zip through. Let me get busy and I'll get back with you. If I see anything crazy, I'll let you know. So on this one, I am gonna go ahead and stop trapping pollen. Usually I like to put my gloves on when I do this, because these, for whatever reason, when I open this, they come out with a vengeance. Maybe not this time, hope not. I don't know why. Then you gotta get them off from squashing, but you just slide this down. Come on. All right, we're no longer trapping. I am gonna go ahead and treat this one after all. And I got this stuff out here. There we go. Let's snug that up so it don't come back up. Ease back up, no button. And I'll harvest this pollen real quick. So we'll pull our drawer. Not a lot of pollen. Some beetles in there, they like it. It's just that simple. You can tell there's not a lot of pollen for a week's worth, because that was like, I left it longer than I thought. That's 4 days worth. And there's why our nests come down right there. The queen's not getting the bees aren't bringing in the pollen, little or if any nectar. I mean, there's still some coming in, not much. And of course that lack of nutrition means lack of royal jelly to be fed to queen, which means lack of brood rearing and brood laying. She slows down. That's why this time of year, this is what we see. There we go. Not much, but I've got some in the freezer already. I'll get that in the freezer, and then down the road we'll dry it and clean it. Hopefully I get more, a couple more traps set and we get a lot more pollen. All right, so I got everybody done over there. Retreated, all the shims off. I walk over here, and this is where my other weak one was. It should have been combined. I should have reduced it, combined a weak one on top, and I didn't. So 2 weeks left to themselves. They weakened up even more. Who knows, mites probably knocked them down. It was a swarming issue with all 3 of these, but I think the way they dwindled, one of them I do think, this one did requeen, but it just dwindled and is being robbed out. So there's no help for it now. And one indication of robbing, which you can tell is just craziness. It's a small hive, it wouldn't have this many bees. If I can do this, knock them off, They all just come on back. You just can't stop them. That's robbing. I knew they were weak, so I should have combined them and reduced them. But it's too late to worry about that now. See, so I might have a mite bomb right there, and that's a bad thing. And a mite bomb is basically a hive that may collapse from mites. It's just loaded with mites. And so mites transfer on the bees, and it just becomes a problem. So see how they're all back now? That's robbing 101 right there. They're falling off of there, just trying to get in. I have the entrances guarded down. You can see there's a crack over there they're trying to get in, and then this. They can smell through there. It's when I'm well and I can get some strength in me. I can come out here, hopefully quickly, like soon, and get them, save the comb. I'm not gonna save the bees. It's just not gonna happen. I'm not gonna open them now. I'm just gonna leave them alone. They'll rob it out, and then I'll come save the comb. All the hives are looking good so far that I'm going through. There was one or two that I thought could have been stronger, but for the most part, they're all pretty strong. A lot of bees on the tops, especially for this time of year. Happy about that. I don't know if the probiotics is very effective with the thymol on, but I'm gonna go ahead and get it on all the colonies, even the ones I'm putting thymol on. And then each month I'll go through and put more of this probiotic on there. Remember, it's a probiotic. Super DFM, the white powder, is a probiotic I'm using. I always get a lot of questions about it, of what it is. And right here, whew, smells like Listerine. So everybody is just about done. They're either treated, or I've gotten the old treatment pads off. We've gotten the probiotic on them. And we're just gonna watch them as they go. Another thing I like about this ApiGuard is how easy it is to use. It is easy to use. You just gotta be careful when the temperature's down here, because we get so hot, and we are getting over 95 every day, so it's something to watch. This kind of here, it's pretty heavy for a single, but it'll be one that might need feed in the fall. Ooh, there were some beetles on that one. Now this colony, it didn't make honey. It swarmed before the honey flow, so it was just wanted it to get built up, and they've done pretty well. They're not super strong, but they're definitely good to go for. They should be good to go for the fall. You guys y'all know Randy Oliver, I'm sure. Everybody has read a little bit about him, and he shows how the population of the mites explodes in the summer, how they peak, how they exponentially grow. And that's the concern this time of year, because they do grow so fast. So Greg Rogers showed at the North Carolina conference a graph where he did some counts, and of course they were probably a month before us. I mean, a month different than us. So his count showed, I'm breathing heavy, right? I'm starting to wear down. But his count showed, for him, April and May, you know, they were relatively okay. They weren't great. They went up the next month by numbers that were like extraordinary. I don't have the exact numbers, I don't remember. I wrote them down somewhere in my notes, but it was crazy, scary almost, of how fast, when that brood is hit, you know, those bees are hitting their peak for the whole honey flow, how all those mites come out of that brood. And so that's why, you know, we want to try and, that's why I want to get on these things early and get these mites kind of at least knocked back. He was saying that they found that 3 evenly spaced treatments per year had a 90% efficacy rate. I thought that was impressive. So I'm tired. I'm getting wore down. Whatever I got has got me down. Yes, I did do a test. I'm not going to say the word because it throws off the algorithm and starts popping messages up on y'all, but that was negative. But man, I feel horrible. I got to get in and get some rest, so I'm gonna do that last colony. Well, everyone, I am done. Ooh, I am whipped. I tell you what, I'm so weak right now just because of being sick. You know, it's got to be bad because it's only like 86 degrees right now and it's like 10 in the morning, and the humidity's down around 60, 65, and there's a beautiful breeze. And usually this would be ideal. I'd love to have this at this time of year. I'd be jumping for joy getting as much work done as I could today, but I got to get in and get a shower, and I got to rest. I got to get into cool air. Man, I am whipped. This thing came on so fast. But this goes back to what I said. I started this channel to show people that sometimes beekeeping is just not putting these bees in a box and getting yourself some honey, and it's all, you know, a tiptoe through the tulips. There's sometimes things go wrong, you know, things happen, it's work, it's hot, it's tiring, and then you have situations where if you do have 30 or 40 hives, there's things that have to be done. And why do they have to be done? Because the biggest killer of bees right now is mites. Besides the beekeeper, of course, right? No, you know, mites are a bad thing, and we got to get them treated. They grow, the peak when those brood chambers are being busted wide open with all this brood for that honey flow, and they're peaking in numbers. Man, the mites are peaking too. And I didn't do any counts, and I don't know how many. I'll probably do some randoms in October, and what we're going to do is hit them hard with oxalic acid vapor in the winter time. And then I got to figure out my spring regimen. I've never settled on a spring regimen. That's always a problem, but had to get this done. And then we just saw that one being robbed. I got a little makeshift robbing screen I'm gonna throw on there just for the heck of it, but I think it's too far gone. What I should have done was combined them all three. Hopefully they weren't giant mite bombs that got robbed out. So I don't know. Anyway, it was kind of a mistake on my part. And so things were done and mistakes were made. And I've got 3 dead outs to prove it. I tell you though, the rest of them looked pretty good. I saw 2 or maybe 3 that were not as packed in the top, but had a good population. And then the rest of them were packed up pretty good in the tops when I opened them. So that's a good sign going into August. We want that. Hopefully the treatments take care of the mites, and we go into spring with some, fall with some decent colonies. So that's always the goal. So folks, we do have the Louisiana Beekeepers Convention coming on. For those of you that are Louisiana, Mississippi that like to go. I am going to make it this year, and as a special bonus, I have the opportunity to help out Hilco at their booth. So if you guys are coming to the convention, it's I want to say the 24th, the weekend of the 24th maybe. It's a Friday and Saturday. And so if you do make it, drop by the Hilco table. Let's chat a little bit, talk bees, talk YouTube, talk whatever you want to talk. And yeah, have a good time. Anyway, I got to get in, folks. I just wanted to get this done and figured I'd take the camera with me. I still got to go in town sometime. I'll do that next week after work one day. I've got to get well. All those need is probiotics and pull the shims, and then just try to gear up for a strong fall and going into winter. That's what we're doing now. We're not far off from winter bees being made. September we're gonna have queens making winter bees in that fall flow. But yeah, it's over, man. It's wow. These seasons are starting to fly by. Well, folks, I gotta go in and get rested up. I gotta get a shower and get rested up and cool down, and I need to get well. I need to rest for the next couple days. Probably next 2 or 3 days I've got to rest. I needed an hour. I got an hour. I took an hour, and now I'm hurting for sure. So I got to get on in. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I appreciate all y'all support and all y'all watching. It's Barry's Best Honey. I'm Mike, and I do bees. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week, and may God bless you guys. We'll see y'all later.